Griffin. I'm a Health and Human Sciences BA candidate and a Management of Drug Development MS candidate. My faculty mentor is Dr. Terry Church. Thank you for coming and listening to my presentation that's recorded via Zoom. My project is on youth nicotine addiction, strategic defiance of regulatory oversight by the disposable electronic nicotine delivery system industry. So a bit of background. So ENDS, or electronic nicotine delivery system, is the term used by the FDA to classify all vapes and e-cigarettes. Disposable ENDS are all-in-one devices that are disposed of after a single use. And then Puff Bar, which you'll hear referenced throughout my research, is a popular disposable ENDS product, as you can see on the right, that occupies 51.3% of the disposable ENDS market share. So the objective of my study is to assess the impact that disposable ENDS have had on youth nicotine addiction epidemic by identifying factors that make disposable ENDS attractive to youth users and evaluating the regulatory landscape for ENDS in the US. So my methods: first, the FDA's 2021 National Youth Tobacco Survey was assessed for recent data related to disposable ENDS. Then I reviewed FDA.gov for regulation statements and actions regarding disposable ENDS. Then all of this data was synthesized to understand the effects of disposable ENDS on youth nicotine addiction. And finally, gaps were identified in current data and regulations on disposable ENDS that could use reform. So here are the key findings from the 2021 National Youth Tobacco Survey. As you can see, disposables are among middle and high schoolers. 53% of ENDS users in that age range use disposable ENDS. And this was actually the first year that disposable ENDS were listed on the National Youth Tobacco Survey, which is concerning that it's clearly the largest product so rapidly, and this survey was so behind on understanding that. Additionally, you can see that Puff Bar, 26% of youth ENDS users claim to use Puff Bar, making it the most popular product, by far passing other popular products you may have heard about, such as Vuse and Juul. Additionally, of concern, Puff Bar is the only disposable ENDS brand listed on the National Youth Tobacco Survey. So as you can see, the second highest category, with almost 20% of response answering this, is some other brand not listed. It's very possible that these youth users could also be using disposable ENDS that are simply just not listed on the National Youth Tobacco Survey. So here's some results related to the FDA and action from industry as well. Following a warning letter in July 2020, Puff Bar actually announced a return to market in March 2021 after the FDA had ordered them to cease sales. With this return to market, they claim to be implementing tobacco-free nicotine into their products, commonly referred to as synthetic nicotine in regulatory language. And they also, on their website, claim that they're fully licensed and compliant with all tobacco regulations in the US. Well, this is just simply not true, actually. The FDA does have the authority to regulate synthetic nicotine. However, there's very little FDA literature written on the topic because it is such a new kind of topic. So as you can see, the only literature the FDA has on synthetic nicotine is on a frequently asked questions page that you can see at the bottom of the screen, where they claim that they'll regulate synthetic nicotine cases on a case-to-case basis, where they actually have not made any comment on Puff Bar's use of synthetic nicotine in their products. So Puff Bar claiming that they are compliant with regulations is not true, because they still require pre-market authorization that they have never received to begin marketing their products. So the conclusions of this research is that obviously the rapidly growing popularity of youth of youth disposable ends use is incredibly concerning for the youth nicotine epidemic, and is now clearly the device that is furthering this epidemic in the wake of crackdown on other devices such as Juul. Additionally, flavored disposable ends elicit a false sense of safety in youth, because disposable ends continue to be sold in these in flavors that are banned for pod-based products, because they have been shown to be risk factors for youth use. Yet disposable ends, despite receiving warning letters and whatnot, continue to sell in these flavors. Additionally, there's lots of FDA inaction in regards to this topic. The FDA is still inactive in commenting on Puff Bar's return to market, whether that be in the form of sending another FDA warning letter, or demanding seizure of sales. Additionally, synthetic nicotine in ends, the FDA has still not commented on this, nor has the FDA been active on commenting other brands of disposable ends that also violate similar regulations to Puff Bar. They seem to be focusing their main targeting on Puff Bar, which is allowing other disposable ends brands to continue to gain popularity. Additionally, there are many data gaps in current disposable ends literature. Some of these data gaps include that underage use for ends is not only among middle and high schoolers, since the legal age to use nicotine in the US is 21 years of age. So anyone 18 to 20 that may be out of high school is also considered an underage user. Additionally, the National Youth Tobacco Survey does not ask about what the attractive aspects of these disposable ends are to better understand why youth seem to be using them so much. And it also does not gauge the popularity of other disposable ends brands very well, since Puff Bar is the only brand listed, which means that it's very possible that there are many other disposable ends devices that are popular that deserve similar attention that they're not receiving. So my future research includes a student survey that is currently being distributed to USC students to gauge the popularity of disposable ends among underage users who would fall into the age range of 18 to 20, who would exhibit similar patterns of use to youth users, since they're also underage. So one of the first preliminary key findings is that 66% of underage respondents, 66% of respondents aged 18 to 20 who responded to the survey use disposable ends. And that's of 75 respondents aged 18 to 20. Additionally, of those underage ends users, of those underage end users, 49 of them, 73% of them claim that their most used device is disposable ends. Also, concerningly, of 41 regular disposable ends users who responded to the survey, only 4.88%, which is actually only 2 of those respondents, claimed that they use either a menthol or tobacco flavor of ends, which is actually, and those are actually the only 2 flavors that are approved for ends devices in the US, which just shows how popular the flavoring is with these devices. Additionally, 50% of underage ends users that respond to our survey claimed that the convenience of use was the most attractive factor and the reasoning for why they use disposable ends over other ends, or just use them in general. And lastly, concerningly, while the National Youth Tobacco Survey points towards Puff Bar being the most popular product by far, the preliminary results of my survey that's currently being distributed is showing that Flume is actually the most popular disposable ends device, with Puff Bar leading slightly behind it, which just shows that current literature is extremely lacking in the popularity of other devices. So here's my references. Thank you very much for listening in. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. My contact info is right there on screen.